administration. It's no longer the Biden administration. Someone else has been added. The question is why? We'll tell you straight ahead. As the Biden-Harris administrations. When was the last time a president demanded that his vice president get half the credit? Let's see. Never. Not once in American history. In fact, the opposite is always true. So it raises pretty deep questions like who's running the government? Who's really in charge? At times, it does seem like a third Barack Obama term. Just a few months ago, Obama hinted at what this might look like.
People would ask me, knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. Wow. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, kind of like a marionette. Someone who doesn't really know what's going on, and then he could kind of control everything through that unknowing person. Just spitballing here, just a daydream fantasy. Victor Davis Hanson is a fellow at the Hoover Institution. We're happy to have him on tonight. Professor, thanks so much for coming on. Have you, I mean, you follow this stuff, you're a historian. Has any American president ever voluntarily decided to share half the credit? No is the answer. Why is this one doing it?
I don't know, but you can always count on Barack Obama to be his most candid and worst critic of himself. But you know, this is fraught with irony and karma, because we got to remember that this same media that's created this cocoon around the Biden candidacy, the transition, the presidency, introduced the whole idea to us that you could invoke the 25th Amendment and remove Donald Trump. That was 9 days after his inauguration. We were told he was non compos mentis. Remember Dr. Bandy Lee from Yale was going to say he was a sociopath, and Rod Rosenstein and Andrew McCabe were going to wear a wire to catch him as incompetent and then get rid of him through the 25th Amendment. And he even took the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test and aced it to show the world that he wasn't. Now that same media is now doing just the opposite. They're shielding us from knowledge, and we had it a little bit, a glimpse during the transition that there were cognitive issues with Joe Biden, but such as it is now, about half the country, Tucker, poll that they don't have confidence in Joe Biden's cognitive abilities, which begs the question, who is running the country? And is it Jill Biden playing the role of Edith Wilson in 1919 when Woodrow Wilson, for basically the last 19 months of his administration, was stroke-ridden and inert? Is she the conduit that funnels out information? Is it, as you said, is it Kamala Harris and her team? They have this psychological tick of referring to herself as President Harris or the Harris Biden, and that is shared by, you know, Joe Biden himself. Or is it senior statesman Barack Obama, who can't resist any current event to weigh in, and who has stalked this administration with a lot of his former employees? I don't have that answer, but it's getting a little scary, because we just had a debacle in Anchorage where the Chinese ate our lunch in a diplomatic tit for tat. And then in their way of thinking, if a president, the most important secretary is the Secretary of Defense, the most important agency in their way of thinking is the Pentagon. When the president can't remember either and trips 3 times, they may get the wrong impression. And, you know, they did that with John Kennedy in '61 in June. He said he got beat up by Khrushchev, and 13 months later we had the Cuban Missile Crisis. So I'm worried. It's just not, it's not a media psychodrama anymore. It really has geostrategic and security implications if our enemies are worried about, or not worried, but anxious to know just how.
This is a North Carolina Amber Alert for a child abduction. The Caldwell County Sheriff's Office has reported an abduction of Medley Reese Ray. Medley Reese Ray is a 14-year-old white female, 4 foot 9 inches tall, and weighs 100 pounds. Medley Reese Ray has fair skin complexion, brown hair,